Hi friends, it's Kylie back with you today with a new layout for the Hip Kip Club. My assignment for today was to feature or work with the main kit and cardstock kit only, and I'm going to be working with the September 2019 kits. I'm also going to be working with this gorgeous wreath cut file, which is available as part of the October 2019 cut files. Now I decided that I also wanted to work with this gorgeous stamp kit, which is by Dear Lizzie. It had a layered flower in this stamp kit. So using a blush pink ink from my stash, I set about layering these two stamps together. The first one there is more of a background stamp, as you can see, and then using a darker outline, I've lined that up easily and just gone over the top with the outline before fussy cutting them out. Now you won't see me use these flowers until the end of my video. I work with them right at the end, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to work with those layered stamps that were in the main kit. I do have a stamp press, but I actually found it easier just using a regular stamp block in lining up the two stamps. So next I took my little wave trim board, and this paper I believe is by Amy Tangerine in our main kit, and I've cut two border pieces for the left and the right hand side of my layout, and this paper here is part of the Dear Lizzie collection. I've used it a few times now in a couple of layouts. I really love the colour scheme. The little squares look like little mosaic tiles. But I'm cutting into the pink section of this paper so that I can give that first edge a nice background of the pink just poking out underneath. But I'm predominantly using the white cardstock from the cardstock kit as my background and adding the wreath over the top. I thought it would look better just for something different to have it actually off center. I glue it down and I actually cut off the overhang, and using a leaf punch that I have in my stash, and again that gorgeous paper, the Dear Lizzie Dream paper, I've punched some leaves that I thought I would just tuck in and around my wreath. I thought it would be nice to add the pops of colour. There's lots of pinks and orange and yellow, and I thought it would be nice to add that around my wreath. I did go in, and you can see here I've machine stitched those leaves all together. I'll cut them apart, but having the stitching through the centre of the leaves once they're added to my layout, it just gives a nice texture and a little bit of interest to them rather than just having them a plain cut or punched leaf. I don't actually own a lot of punches, but the ones I have in my stash, I use them quite a lot, and I think I've used that leaf punch now numerous times, different ways. So I next came in with my double-sided tape, and I'm just adding these beautiful pieces of paper to my background cardstock. I think the soft mint or the aqua goes well with the pale pink of the two different papers, and I like to use double-sided tape to adhere these to my background just so they don't buckle at all. I find the tape works best for that, and if you need to lift it off carefully and reposition it, you can. When it comes to adding my wreath to the background, I've just run the glue through the centre of my wreath. The reason for this, I had two reasons. One was so I could lift the leaves up a little bit, the white leaves of the wreath, so that they would have a little bit of dimension and texture. But also, once it came to adhering my coloured leaves to the wreath, I could tuck them in and underneath those other leaves. So I've trimmed off the excess of my wreath, and I realised I cut off a little leaf that I probably shouldn't have, so I'm just going to stick him back in place there along the edge. It just looked a little bit bare where I had trimmed it off. I added my photo, and I like to do this by adding in some foam to the back of my photo. It's just a little bit of craft foam that has an adhesive back on it. Helps to raise the photo from the background, again giving it some dimension and some height. And I've just tucked it in and over my wreath. And then for the leaves that I've stitched together, this is where I start to trim them apart. And before I glue them to my background, I'm actually just folding them a little bit. I curl up the top tail of it a little bit, all again so it looks like it has that dimension and character to it. Now this layout, when I first started it, I didn't actually have a grand plan of things, so this was very much I was planning it and going along as I was filming it. Normally I like to have a little bit of a plan of what I'm going to do, and sometimes I'll do a bit of prep off camera, but this was very much just going with the flow as I filmed. This again is another Dear Lizzie paper that I fussy cut 2 of the gorgeous blooms from. This is where I start to tuck them in and underneath my photo. I've taken another punch from my stash. This one is just a little mini tag punch, and I felt that the side of my layout here to the left just needed a little bit something extra. So I've added just a little tag with a fussy cut bloom and some more of my leaves. And this was another little sticker from the Pink Fresh Studio stickers from the main kit, and a couple of little random die cuts from the Pretty Little Studio die cut pack that was in the main kit as well. Now, using these beautiful white stickers, they sort of had a beautiful shimmery effect to it, almost like a pearl effect. I created my title, and it was at this point I thought I wanted a little bit extra colour. So I've taken another leaf punch that I had, and I've just gone into the yellow tones of that dream paper, and I'm just tucking them in and around those first leaves that I had added to my layout. I was much happy with that result. It looked nice and full, and it had a lot of texture from those edges. So I was just finishing off with an extra little fussy cut title from one of the papers in the main kit. I forget which one it was actually, I'll have to look that up. It has lots of great little subtitles that you can fussy cut and add to your layouts. But I just worked on my little tag, adding the leaves and this little subtitle, and I've adhered it to my page with some more of the craft foam. And just with some string that I had in my craft stash, I've just tied a sweet little bow through the top of that tag. And it was at this point that I decided I wanted to add the cute stamp die cuts that I created that you saw me working with at the start of my video. I just felt my photo needed a little bit of colour balance, so I've trimmed them in half. I've added a little bit of foam tape to some of them just so they rise above the background, but I've just tucked it in and around my photo, and I've added one in behind that cute little tag that I've added to the side of my layout. But that pretty much completed my design. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I've created today. If you're after any of the products that I've worked with today, you will find them via the Hip Kip Club website, which also includes the wreath cut file. Thanks for watching today, guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye.